Welcome, one and all, folks, to the Big Buckin' Empire, the KOE Nation, and all places where you can find amazing Phil KOE and Tony G content. We are here, folks. It is time to discuss local politics. Ah, yes, everyone's favorite subject. It is I, folks, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes you the podcast hour, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, one handsome man, if I do say so myself, and the new head pastor of Sutton Community Church in Sutton, Nebraska. Come on by and check us out anytime, folks. Your King of Extreme, Phil KOE, and I am happy, pleased, and most of all, glad to be here. And I am here to introduce my indomitable broadcast partner, the one, the only.
I'll save the eccentric intro for the next live stream coming up on Saturday. That's going to be a lot more colorful and lighthearted. But I am just simply tonight Tony G, and we are, back doing some local politics, controversy. How do we explain this? How do we describe what we're talking about tonight? No, Sarah says we have no sound. I think our sounds good on my
Sounds
end.
good on my end.
Yeah, I might be on your end, Sarah.
My indomitable broadcast.
Yeah, we can hear Phil, so we know
I
it's
mean,
good.
I was about to say
That could just be the echo of Phil and the essence of Phil, though.
I was about to say, I'm just so beautiful, okay? Like, you don't even need the audio. You just need these beautiful faces, okay? You don't even need audio. You just need just this. This would be enough for you.
Well, for some people it might be. For others, it might not. So
now, for those who it's not, I feel deep sympathy for you.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Well, if that's the case, I can get louder if you want.
I can get louder too, I guess.
Oh, yes. But folks, we are here to discuss local politics. Yes, that ever exciting topic. But this is one that has got everybody's attention because it captures a little bit of everything. Local power. Is there abuse of power? Are people letting it go to their heads? Are the veterans getting their just due? There's all kinds of different angles that we can look at this at. Now, before we do, there's one thing I want you to keep in mind, and it's just 10 short words, and it's from 1 Corinthians 1:10. Now I urge you, brothers and sisters, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you all agree and there be no divisions among you, but that you be made complete in the same mind and in the same judgment. So keep in mind, this is our community. We're all going to live here when it's all said and done. We're all still going to be neighbors. We're all still going to see each other at Casey's. We're all still going to see each other at the grocery store. We're all going to still see each other at Dollar General. Those are the only three things. Occasion and the VFW. So
there you go.
That is the big topic du jour this evening.
I guess leading off of that, I want to make this statement clear. When this first popped up on Facebook, there was a lot of knee-jerk reaction and colorful language and name calling and the like, and I'd really like to avoid that. I know maybe some folks might have tuned in for a witch hunt, and that's not what I'm looking for here. That I don't really think at the core of it anybody really wants that. We're all adults here at the end of the day. Like Phil said, we're all still going to see each other, if we're talking about community-wise. So let's not try to hurt more feelings that might already be hurt. Let's not try to kick people while they're down, and let's just flat out act like adults. So we encourage the comments absolutely tenfold because that's what matters. When we're talking about local politics, what matters are the people. When we're talking about the city council, these are elected officials put into power by you. That is why it is so vital that people have their voice heard. Now, obviously, the city council holds council meetings, and you are more than welcome to attend. You've got to go a little bit out of your way to be heard at the meetings, which is expected, but you can go to the meetings. But in this particular case, one of the meetings was made a little more transparent online, and some of the things said were somewhat controversial. So that's what we're getting into, and that's what we're going to talk about. But again, I do strongly urge, drop your comments, ask your questions, but we do not need to make this situation worse than it might already be. So be adults, be formal, be cordial, and let's all find a resolution that actually means something. Let's not just make it worse. 'Cause once
Now that we
it's
got
rolling,
that,
sometimes it's hard to stop it.
now that we got that out of the way, let's get ready to rumble. Yes, yes. All right, all right. Because let's be frank here. There is reason for concern here. There is reason for controversy. I don't know. When you at first when I heard there was some spat at the city council meeting, I didn't think much of it. And then I listened to the video and I was like, wow, they're like I'm just gonna give my intro. Okay. This is kind of
Okay.
how I saw it, T, before we play the video. I don't know half the people in this video. I'll be frank. I'm a farmer. I don't get out much. Okay. Some old timer comes and says, wouldn't it be nice if we put a constitution on the VFW? Wouldn't that be a nice thing? And then a member of the city council proceeds to berate this man, berate military veterans and kind of a weird ethic I've never heard of before, and berate the idea that they should ever go to the community to ever want anything ever. And I'm like, what? The reaction was, okay, the proposal was like a 2 on the scale. And the reaction was, this is Spinal Tap 11. And that's what I think got everybody's attention. So before we proceed, I actually give me a moment here to pull up my list of all the city council members that or do you have that on your computer?
Yeah, I can pop that up just a second. So and
rewards.
Remind me if I'm not mistaken, but is this not a election year for the council members?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it is.
We'll have to look into that. And if you know, drop it in the comments or when the video plays, I'll look that up because this is one of those moments where this could potentially cost someone their seat.
Sorry about that. That was my bad. There you go. So here we go. This is the actual website here of the City Council for Geneva. This is genevane.org. And this shows all the city council. Here's the first ward, Jenny Horty, Joe Casey. Second ward, Joni Karcher, Jenny Cook. Third ward, Galen Rasmussen, and Joe Head. You can see right there. Anybody can go to this site. This is obviously available to the public. Council consists of 6 members who are elected and serve a 4-year term. Council is the legislative division of the municipal government, and the members are expected to maintain the peace, regulate business, protect the public health and safety, and assess such taxes and fees as necessary and appropriate in the exercise of these functions. Now, I think that is a crucial thing and paragraph to focus on. Because it actually, okay, yes, thank you, Cheryl. It is an election for them, so that's why that's why we're talking about this. Okay, that's why this is important. So, again, I want to double down on this. The council regulate, maintain peace, business, protect the public health and safety, and assess such taxes and fees as necessary. That absolutely is happening in this video. Okay, whether you like it or not, that is what the council is doing here. Even when it's not a popular opinion, and by all means, this is not a popular opinion, but that's what the council is doing. So before we play anything, I just wanted to note all of that.
Now, you could make an argument about the maintaining the peace part, but Shoop Michael goes, half the council's up for election. Unfortunately, the person in question, Jenny Cook, is not up for re-election. So that's why she was talking like she don't have to care whether job's on the line or not. Like, I'm sorry, but like when I listen to that, it just, well, the audience can come to their own conclusion, but it just kind of struck me as someone who felt that they were above the people they were representing.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That was just my impression. But
we're going to let people who have maybe not seen this. I think it's important for clarity's sake we're just going to watch this together, and we're not going to watch the whole thing. I don't think we need to, but we'll watch
every minute of it.
Every minute, yeah.
Well, let's turn it on, and we'll kind of start pausing it throughout to give our commentary, because let's be frank, that's what they're really here for. T is these 2 beautiful mugs.
Right. Okay. If you can't hear this, folks, let me know. Already can't.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Consideration of a Keno grant request.
Sorry. There we
All
go.
right. Thanks for the update, Kyle. Appreciate that. Our one and only item of business tonight, consideration of a Keno grant request for a replica of the U.S. Constitution at the VFW. Mr. Ron Wilson, would you like to address the council with a summary of your proposal here?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first off, the proposal went through about 5 or 6 drafts. Reason being, we wanted to make it as clear as possible and concise so you folks could make a good decision right away. It's basically for you folks to purchase with the Keno funds, a replica that we indicated in the proposal to be hung in the VFW.
And this would come from National Archives Center, is that right?
That is where I have been buying the ones that I buy. It is a government organization and their quality of product is excellent.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Ron?
I have some things to say.
Oh,
So,
this is gonna get good.
This sits really wrong with me. I'm just gonna come out and say that. Might have some bias with this, I don't know, but the military way is not to ask the community to give to them, it's to support themselves from within. And that's how it's always
Can
been
we
done,
pause,
that's the way
Steve?
it's always done.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this is the part where I start to get confused. Okay, this old timer here, RD, he's proposing a I guess like a plaque or like a replica of the Constitution.
Yeah, replica of the Constitution. Yep.
That costs about $500. Okay, and that's fine. You got to understand the VFW brings in revenue for the county through their Keno game and they actually bring revenue in, and so
Here, we can pop it up right here.
yes, here's the proposal. But in a moment, I want you to read that aloud for the people at home. But the thing that I find very peculiar is that statement, "This isn't the military way," from Jenny Cook. That, okay, my grandfather served under General Patton. He was in World War II. He came in a push through southern France. He actually got a Purple Heart in the Battle of the Bulge. I have never heard anything of this kind, of this sort of military ethic of where the military should never want the community to ever support it in any way. Never heard of this. I'm curious, was Miss Cook, did she serve in the military? If anybody knows about that, because if this is some sort of new ethic that's come to light in the last few decades, I'm completely unaware of it. And this is my first time ever hearing any such thing.
So I'm not sure about her. I was under the impression that maybe her husband was a service member, but I can't. Kate says she never served, so not sure where she got her info. What the military does, maybe she needs to do well. And then at least she led with the fact that I have some bias. Well, okay, well, great. At least we had that precursor.
So,
and to your point, Phil, like we've a lot of us, if not all of us, have family members who did serve. I mean, I have a dad and an uncle and an aunt, and actually the three of them just got their Quilts of Valor through the VFW here a couple of months ago. So the VFW does do a lot for the community. I think that's where a lot of the pushback is coming from, because they do donate funding and time and effort. And obviously these Keno funds come from the VFW. It's the only place you can play in town, Keno. So that funding is coming from them. And when you look at this, it's a very small ask in the grand scheme of things. Now, again,
the proposal.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and read this. The purchase details are: a frame replica of the U.S. Constitution, cost $449. It's a 22.5 inch by 27 inch, approximately 24 by 30 once framed, made by the National Archives. The proposed purchase was discussed with the commander, Tom Hyatt of VFW Post 7102, who agreed with and approved the request. Kerry Fitzgerald, the Nebraska State Gaming Office, was contacted to clarify the guidelines regarding the use of the Keno funds for this purpose. And it was determined that the Geneva City Council is the appropriate authority to review and approve this allocation. The funding source and procedural steps for the purchase were reviewed by the city clerk, Reagan Bridges, and the city administrator, Kyle Speck. So there you go. Yeah, use of funds for this purchase is supported by the Nebraska Administrative Code Title 316, Chapter 35, and a lot more details there if anybody wants to gloss that over.
So that's the proposal, is this
Yep.
$500 Constitution and all of this storm. Now, Paige is saying that her husband is a disabled
Okay.
vet. Okay.
That-
Now that's interesting, but I'm sorry, I kind of have to say it, and I don't mean to be mean here, but wouldn't that be somebody that the community is helping?
Well, I don't know if that's where the bias is coming from. I'm not going to put words in her mouth. I'm not going to assume
Yeah, I'm
what.
not going to either. I just don't know where this ethic of the military and veterans should never get help from the community for any
Right.
reason.
No, and
this
I-
is the first time I have ever heard this in my
Right.
life, and I've only ever heard anything counter to it. So
Yeah, and that's kind of always been my feelings and thought process to it. So yeah, it was such it felt like a bizarro world type reaction to it. I don't know where the exact stigma for her is coming from. Again, I'm not going to assume, and I don't know. Maybe there are some other things going on here that we're not privy to. But again, if it's a personal issue and we're not privy to it, of course we're not going to know. So yeah, it didn't sit right immediately, and we're not even that far in. So
now I do want to address this comment here about how do we know what ward we are in? Here's the problem. I looked everywhere, and I even had AI look into it. There is no existent ward map online for Geneva anywhere. It does not exist. And so that is like, I'm sorry, I'm going to point to this whole city council over here. The fact that there is no map for the wards for voters to know where they sit, and the fact that that's not readily available, that is kind of a dereliction of duty. I'm sorry.
I know there's a way to figure it out. I just don't know who you've got to contact. But yeah, the age of information that we live in, it should be readily available just by looking on the city council website. You would think would be the easiest thing to do. You can find the council members, but I don't know what ward I'm in. There's three wards. I don't know.
I'm afraid, like, yeah, I'm sorry, but like city council, that the fact that information cannot be attained by people that are trying to do research and trying to reach out to the public on your behalf here, that is kind of a dereliction of duty. Like that's
maybe
kind of on all of you. You need
if somebody knows, if somebody knows differently and it is readily available and we are not privy to it, I think that'd be helpful. Please let us know so we can spread that here right now, because I think that's
I would
information
love to have it.
everybody would like to have. So with that said, here we're gonna go a little bit further into this. Yep, and it's
A
gonna
number of years,
mute
decades,
itself.
that's the way it's
Back a few
always
seconds.
been. I'm under the impression that the VFW hasn't had one for a number of years, decades maybe even. And if it hasn't been important up till now, I don't know how old this VFW is, but it's been around since I've been little, right? And they haven't had one. I don't know why there's all of a sudden a need to have it. Again, like I said, the military, they help the community. They don't ask for the community to give them things.
Okay, so a couple things right there. Well, here, yeah, RD says the ward map is on the city website. It is poor quality, but it is there. Okay,
I clicked and it's there. It takes you to a broken link. It's not there
Okay.
anymore. So
maybe
like
we need
that-
to, maybe we need to fix that.
Yeah, that is one thing that needs. But anyways,
This part right here, I don't understand. She doesn't understand the need for it at this time because they haven't had it before. I think it's just a patriotic and pride and aesthetics thing. Like, do you really need much more of an explanation than that? It's such a small ask, and she even says right there that the VFW is supporting the community. It's not the community's job to support the VFW. Let me play that again, because
yeah, that does require a second listen.
I want to be crystal clear.
Again, like I said, the military, they help the community. They don't ask for the community to give them things.
What?
I don't.
What?
I
mean,
want I want to make it clear. Like, at
Our
the
armed
core of
service
this,
members receive a paycheck from the community, from the nation, from our government. Like that's the part that I'm not quite. I don't get.
It doesn't
this at
sit
all.
right. It doesn't sit right. And I again, if she's got a bias, that's fine. That is perfectly fine. You're allowed to have that. you're on this council and your job, let me stress this, be angry about it or not, that's not the point. Her job is to assess these proposals to determine whether or not they should be funded and approved or not. And she is doing that, like it or not. However, it's just I think the demeanor in which she's going about it, and the way this feels very personal and biased, and the way she's you can use the word berate or talking down to the person giving the proposal, Mr. R.D. Wilson, but it does feel very standoffish for no
Yeah.
truly good reason, I feel like. So we've got a couple of comments here. Found the ward info online, says
Send
Brittany.
Tony the link so we can put it up on the
Yeah,
screen.
if we can get that at least on if somebody pop it on the comment, I could
I
pop it
spent
right
a
up.
good chunk of time trying to find it, and even AI said that there was no existent map to be found
Okay.
anywhere online. But if y'all
Yeah,
got
give me a link in the
send it,
comments if you can.
because we
Yep.
definitely
Okay,
want
so
that to be up.
Chuck's saying there is
Ah,
one on
Chuck
the city
Udell.
website. So perfect. Yeah, if you've got the comment or somebody wants to send it to me, we'll get it pulled up here because I think that's important for us. We'll move forward here a little bit more.
It
Rolling
just,
Rhoda.
I'm just gonna leave it with that it sits really wrong with me that we're being asked to give from our community to the VFW, something that I don't think it's of great value that it needs to be. They've had it this long without it. People who serve, they know damn well what they are serving for. They don't need a piece of paper framed hanging up on a wall to tell them what they serve for. Their families know that.
Huh.
Um,
You're still, yeah, it's still going, T.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, Facebook doesn't work great.
That I don't get. Like, well, it's never been there before, so why do you need it? The house that you live in right now, there was a time where it had never been there before. Why is it needed? The painting that you have on your wall had never been there as before. Why is it needed? You didn't have curtains on your window. Why was it needed? Like, yes, sometimes things change. Like,
I think she's
this angle makes no
confused.
sense to me.
Well, yeah, I feel like it's confused. I don't want to say this, but like she's confused as to why they want it, or at least that's how it's. She's wording it. She's coming off confused as to why it's necessary now. I don't think it's a matter of timing. I don't think it has anything to do with timing. It's just they would like to have the very thing that they stood for and fought for and served for on display. I mean, do you need much more explanation than that? So I don't know. I don't know. So should we keep going a little bit more?
Yeah, let's go a little bit more and back up.
Okay,
because
because I don't think this is
we
like a
missed a little
12-minute
bit.
video, and I don't think there's a ton
Oh
after this.
no, there's fireworks the whole way through.
Okay,
I watched the
okay.
whole thing. It's
Hanging up on
great.
the wall to tell them what they serve for. Their families know that as well. They sacrifice, they all know. So, like I said, it just sits very wrong with me. I haven't seen that there's been any fundraising done to try to pay for this or ask of the members to give a little bit of something to pay for this. Maybe it has, and it just hasn't come to us, but that's the way the military does it. And so that, I guess that's probably why it really sits wrong with me. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add?
Is the commander interested in coming to visit with us, Tom Hyatt?
I did speak with Commander Hyatt yesterday, and he said he was gonna try to be here. I haven't had contact with him today. However, the signature that he placed on the proposal was notarized.
I mean, if it's
Okay.
notarized, that's kind of it. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
what more? Like, they're like, are we sure the commander wants this? I mean, he signed it and it's notarized. Any judge is going to look at that like, yeah, that's fine.
Right.
There's nothing more you need. It's been signed. It's been notarized. I'm going to read R.D. Wilson's comment here real quick.
Please.
I would like to be clear. I will actively support every American citizen protected institutional right to speak their minds. It is the manner in which the rebuttal to my proposal was presented that concerns me, and what further concerns me is that the council as a whole chose to totally ignore their ability to take final action on the agenda item, which that's not good. You don't want to just kind of shuffle up, like, because guess what? If they would have just voted up or down one way or the other, this probably wouldn't have been as big a deal. But now, if they're just kind of saying, no, we're not going to touch on that. And we forgive your spelling. Trust me, my spelling's way worse. Tony can attest to that.
Oh yeah, tenfold.
And so we got a couple of revised maps from
Yep, I've got it here. I'm gonna pull it up.
Pull it up.
Once I can get it proper.
Okay. If we have
yeah,
an actual map, I apologize to the city council.
Yeah, it looks like we do. And again, this is not something I've seen before. So yeah, I'm interested. Here we go. Got a lot of windows. I need a second monitor. Here you go. So as you can see here, it's pretty cut and dry. Looks like Ward 1, I believe north is going to have to be towards the top. I'm going to go with never eat shredded wheat. Northeast, yep, there it is, down on the bottom. North would be the top. So the northeast corner is primarily the first ward. The southeast is primarily in the green here, is the second ward, which would be her ward. And on the western portion is your third ward. So there we go. And it looks like...
Which one does Jenny Cook represent?
She is the number 2 ward.
Oh, okay. T, you just barely got out of it.
Just barely got out. Wow.
Yeah, I was going to nominate you.
No, I'm good.
But
so
there you go. Now, here's the thing.
Okay,
People
Chuck
like,
mentions, keep in mind that the map does change often.
yeah.
So
You might still be in T.
yeah,
But now, here's the thing. I do want to... I want people to keep in mind. People are like, well, this is terrible. This is awful. We need to vote this person out, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Who do you have in mind? Who do you got in mind? Like, it's one thing to just complain about local politics, but it's kind of the put up or shut up. Okay.
Right.
Like, if you really, like, I don't live in one of these districts, so I couldn't run if I wanted to anyways, which not really. I got enough on my plate at the moment. But here's the thing. If you don't like what you heard, then that's on you to step up. Okay. Like, it's local politics is the very definition of what Plato said, that if you refuse to participate in politics, you end up being governed by your inferiors. Okay.
So,
that's,
yeah.
And so, yeah, if you refuse, we got people that are already starting
Offering up other people. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like I was offering you up, T.
Well, but no, that you make a great point there, Phil. Here's the thing. It's with these council positions, school board positions, a lot of these positions within your town, community, county, they are all very, very, very thankless jobs and positions to have. Because you are almost certainly going to ruffle feathers the wrong way, because you are going to have to say no. It's like being the CEO or the chief of a hospital or in any job. Like, you have to tell people no a lot.
Way less prestige.
Right. But it's a thankless position. So anybody who does step up does deserve our respect to a certain degree, because it is something that they are doing that they don't have to do. That being said,
it's in
on
service
the flip
to the
side of that coin, there's a very important thing. When you step up and you take this position, you have got to be open to a very specific amount of scrutiny, because the people that you depend on to put you into that position of power that you seek out, you have to count on them to keep you there. You have got to get there first. And once you're there, you've got to keep them happy. And if you don't keep them happy, they absolutely have the right to exercise their voices and be heard. That's what these council meetings are for. That's what this is for, because it is so vital, so very, very, very vital, that if you do not partake in your local politics and go out and do your part and vote on these things, do you really have a voice to complain?
Yeah, don't complain when things don't go the way you want them to.
this is vital. Now, if you're not registered to vote and you feel obligated, you need to go do this. It's important. And even if you're not comfortable voting in a federal election, say for the presidency or a midterms coming up, you can still just vote for your local officials or even up to your state officials, because those are the things that are going to impact us, you and I, the most wholeheartedly, first and foremost. And I'm not asking everybody to go out and become completely 100% educated on every single issue, every initiative, everything being voted on. You just can't. It's too much. But things like this, local elections, it's very important. And you do have a voice, and your vote does matter in these types of things. So if you don't like what you're hearing and you feel like you could step up, you know somebody, or you just want your vote to be tallied, you've got to go out there and you got to do it. And transparency is key. And that's why this is so important, why this video and the response and the voice is being heard. But it's also key to think about it from a couple of different perspectives. So with that being said, we've got some comments we should probably get to.
But yeah, keep in mind also, like on the other side of what you're saying, T, to the people on the city council, you also got to remember, like it or not, politics and elections in democracy are nothing more than a popularity contest. That's it. Absolutely. That's all it is. It's a popularity contest. And so when you make veterans mad or something like that, don't be a bit surprised when, well, there's some blowback. So Donald J. Mason says, my family is behind the VFW 100%. My father was one of the first 9 that started the VFW in 1945 in Geneva. God bless. God bless.
Very nice.
I'll let you read the next few.
Shoot, Michael says, the Constitution is to remind the people, not the veterans. We are celebrating America 250. So, and that's important because the VFW is open to the public. Not all VFWs are open to the public. So I think that's important to note. I mean, just keep that in mind, that it doesn't have to be that way. So we really, I mean, it's quid pro quo, right? Like, give and take. You would think. We got another one here, Phil. Go ahead.
The city council had to approve Keno gambling in the city limits. Do the tax revenues from Keno go directly to the sales tax accounts? Interesting. I don't know where they go directly to what account, but I think kind of one of the generalized arguments is the Keno is clearly bringing in revenue.
Yeah.
And so this is probably still a net positive from, even with this $500 expense. This is probably a net positive for the VFW still at this point. So I'm not sure. I will have to look into that. And if anybody knows, drop it in the comments.
I think for the most part that is pretty much accurate. The tax revenues from the Keno go directly into this. I think that's precisely how that works. And if the VFW wanted to stop doing Keno, they could. I don't know if it'd be like that or if it'd take a couple of days or a week or a month, but they could just opt out of that and not be a source of revenue. So keep that in mind.
Now, to your credit, Mr. Wilson is actually running for a local office. Now he's challenging somebody else. But hey, regardless, God bless you. God bless you, sir. And I'll just say to quote Indiana Jones, God bless you on your quest. We quick draw.
I'll let you click it. You go ahead.
All right. I'll let you read it.
This is from America Lynn. I think every candidate for local office running this year should be invited onto this channel to do a town hall with us all live online, answer our questions, tell us why they deserve it. All for it. Because again, it's strange because we all go into the voting booth and we make our choices. And a lot of times seats like these don't have anybody running opposing somebody, and it's just other. And you can fill in a name if you so choose. But most people just pick the one person that opted their time and effort into running for the position. So it's so crucial that we have transparency and know a little bit about these people that we're voting for. So, like, even if you don't agree with her on this issue, maybe there are some other issues that you would agree. Maybe you think it's crucial that somebody's capable of saying no to everything regardless, because sometimes that's what it takes. But yeah, it's a very important to have transparency with these people seeking these positions. So I'm all for it. Anybody running that wants to reach out, definitely we will do whatever we can to help make your voice heard.
Yeah, we'd love to have you on. If you're on anybody on the council, we'd love to have you on. Even Jenny Cook. I know it sounds like we're cooking you tonight.
You made it funny.
I made a funny, but I know but we would still like you to come on and we would like to hear your
Absolutely.
perspective on it.
Follow-up comment there was, I feel like I never know who the people are in the local office, and I just end up picking a name or skipping that part. Exactly. And I'd like the opportunity to hear from the people ahead of the elections. Absolutely. And a lot of times there's really no venue for that other than maybe the
Here.
signal reaching out. So yeah, we live in an age of information like this. So we'd be happy to do something like that.
And he raises a great Michael raises a great point here. Don't say thank you for your service if you don't exercise your freedom fought for you, like your right to vote in local politics. Do
Yes.
your part. It's like anytime I've ever been asked by an officer, like, can I search your cards? Like, no, I'm going to invoke my Fourth Amendment right. Men far better than me have fought and died for such a thing.
Okay.
So,
RD clarifies, no, it goes into its own checking account. So the funding here goes into a separate account, and then when a proposal like this comes up, which makes it feel all the more silly, I guess, they have to go get approval from the council to use a very small portion of those funds to buy some aesthetics for the VFW. Just to put it bluntly, I guess. Yeah.
Now we got running forward.
We got you.
Yeah. Now, because we're only like 90 seconds in. Do you want to just run it from the top for the folks because we've actually had a lot of people that have come in. So we're going to we're only 90 seconds into the video and there's a lot of meat here. So let's,
we'll play it. We'll play it again. Let her speak for herself. Real quick. Trisha said it has to be in its own separate account and over a lot. It's more than $450. We'll put it that way. So we assume. Which
if it's
seems
more
like
than
a lot.
$450. But yeah, let's just
So we're gonna go back here. We're just gonna let her speak for herself.
From the top.
With the Keno funds, a replica that we indicated in the proposal to be hung in the VFW.
And this would come from National Archives Center, is that right?
That is where I have been buying the ones that I buy. It is
You take it from the
government
beginning. This is like 2 minutes
organization
in.
and their quality of
Her
product
part's coming
is
up here in a second.
excellent.
Listen up, grow the farm up.
All right, anybody have any questions for Ron?
I have some things to say.
Okay.
So.
It's for a $500 Constitution plaque.
Sits really wrong with me. I'm just gonna come out and say that. Might have some bias with this, I don't know, but the military way is not to ask the community to give to them, it's to support themselves from within. And that's how it's always been done, that's the way it's always done. I'm under the impression that the VFW hasn't had one for a number of years, decades maybe even. And if it hasn't been important up till now, I don't know how old this VFW is, but it's been around since I've been little, right? And they haven't had one. I don't know why there's all of a sudden a need to have it. Again, like I said, the military, they help the community. They don't ask for the community to give them things. I'm just gonna leave it with that it sits really wrong with me that we're being asked to give from our community to the VFW, something that I don't think it's of great value that it needs to be. They've had it this long without it. People who serve, they know damn well what they are serving for. They don't need a piece of paper framed hanging up on a wall to tell them what they serve for. Their families know that as well. They sacrifice, they all know. So, like I said, it just sits very wrong with me. I haven't seen that there's been any fundraising done to try to pay for this or ask of the members to give a little bit of something to pay for this. Maybe it has and it just hasn't come to us, but that's the way the military does it. And so that, I guess that's probably why it really sits wrong with me. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add?
Is the commander interested in coming to visit with us, Tom Hyatt?
I did speak with Commander Hyatt yesterday, and he said he was going to try to be here. I haven't had contact with him today. However, the signature that he placed on the proposal was notarized. Yes, Ms. Rickon? You saw the notarization.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know you were asking me.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was. It's not necessary on this, but it was. There was documentation.
It's fine, Mike.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing, American Lynn.
Thank you, Greg. What, I think we talked about this before when we were talking about the Missoula Children's Theater. How much money is in the account? 30?
It's right up here, I can tell you, $136,700 in round numbers.
And pretty specific things that money can be spent on, correct? I mean, like,
It's specific, but yet not. I mean, it's pretty wide open to community betterment-ish type things in general. And as he put in here, specifically that, he puts a couple sections he quoted in here, but there's multiple sections. I think Missoula Theater would be one, but it could be used for community centers, community events, things that benefit general public in a sense.
Ron, can you tell us why this one and this one are different and why that's important? Or I think it was your impetus, am I incorrect, that we have our Constitution up here?
I did make the suggestion, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I mean, is there a way to do this cheaper? I guess, I don't know, I'm just like, what made you pick this frame, does it come in the frame?
I believe, and Commander Hyatt and other members of the VFW have agreed that that is a place that is special, and we should have a special replica of our Constitution in that place that honors both the Constitution and our members of the service.
The VFW sells them for $3. If you go to their site, they will sell you one for $3.
Wow. It's like, well, they'll sell you one for $3. Like, I mean, like, very dismissive, very dismissive. That's the part that I think has got everybody really riled. And then she talks about like, oh, just get a pocket constitution, just give that to people. Like that comes a little later. And it's like, that's not really what's trying to be accomplished here. So this was honestly,
That's what she's talking about, though. Hang on. This was actually brought to my attention just the other day. The VFW store for $3.99. This website, it was sent to me. The U.S. Constitution book. It's $3.99. It's a pocket book. Like this is something you could stick in your pocket. That's not something you could put on display. So I don't know why.
Yeah, that seemed like it was a very dismissive comment. Yeah, that's kind of my point. Is like the VFW, especially here in Geneva, is just as much a part of the community as anything else. I mean, like what is the community here in Geneva? Like, yeah, it's people that go to VFW, it's people that go to the bar, it's people that go to Casey's, the grocery store, people that go to our local events. And so this is an interesting take. I'll let you read this one.
Mike Moda says asking for more VFW members to be present in lieu of the document signed by the commander is ridiculous. Does the council ask for the entire school? No. So yeah, that did go off the rails a bit. RD says the council apparently chose to not read the law delineating the allowable use of the Keno funds.
Yeah,
might be problematic.
Let's just go another minute or two, T, because there's one other thing I want to get to.
They suggest is, I don't think it's probably framed, but what they suggest costs $3. You can also get pocket ones.
Well, if we're talking about money, folks, I did the simple math. The cost of this particular replica is 0.00367% of the funds available.
Ouch.
So it's barely an ask.
And at this point, you'll notice Jenny's arms are
And it's
crossed.
a great representation of our Constitution.
I like reading people's body language. At this point, she's closed off. When people do this or they do this, they're basically
I'm
doing
not
this.
opposed
Right.
to this. I'd like to see us follow up on what Jenny just said, but if you can get one.
So before we get to that, Michelle says they would not have this money if not for the VFW. Why not give something back to them? Precisely. $450 is not a big ask when that much is in the account from the Keno Fund ran by the VFW. Go ahead with this comment, Phil.
Grow the Farm Up. I'll give you credit here. You're trying to be fair here. Grow the Farm Up. I'm going to try viewing this through a different lens. Isn't she just saying no to spending our tax
Yes.
dollars? Maybe she's having a bad day. Can we just
Yes.
donate the 500 to the V? And that was something I said to UT in our private conversation.
Right.
Is the storm and the crap that's going to fall on her head because of this? Like she would have been way ahead to just literally open her wallet and put $500 on the table in front of this guy, because the blowback that she's going to get is way more than $500. Okay.
And there's been people like Chuck here offering to pay for the whole thing. You don't need do you need fundraising for $450? No, you absolutely do not. When you're a establishment that brings in $130,000 and just wants a small portion for a replica of the Constitution.
I was about to say, as a guy that talks to folks in small church communities around our area, actually, yeah, sometimes you do need fundraising for $450 around here. But yeah, for this though, I'm not really understanding her perspective, because she said she's biased against it. If she would have just said, I'm doing a Ron Paul Dr. No because it's tax dollars, I think we would have all been, well, okay, I don't agree with her, but hey, she's got a valid reason. That was never a reason I heard, though. But to your point, Grow the Farm Up, that is the fairest steel man of her position. But I'll let you read this one, T.
American Lynn, I hadn't seen this far into the video. The whole council is disappointing in this interaction. No one even seems to disagree. And I kind of discussed this with a few people. There's not a lot of pushback because it's very tense. It feels very tense in the room. Now, here's the thing. I think everybody else knows that if they do choose to speak up on this matter or push back on her or agree with her, they're going to catch some of the blowback. So nobody wants to get any of this on them at this point is kind of the vibe that I get. So, and again, if you're a council member, you have to say no a lot. So she's already done it for them. They don't have to be the bad guy now. So that I think that's why everybody's kind of being pretty quiet when it comes to the rest of the council.
Before we play any further, there's 3 comments I want to get to here. I'll read this
go
one.
ahead.
RD, there have literally been dozens of fellow patriots who have offered to pay the entire amount.
Yep.
One of the folks was from several hundred miles away. That is not the
Right.
point here. At
Right.
this point now, it's unfortunately, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. We have something that's bringing revenue into our community, and when they go for the tiniest ask, I'm sorry, they're kind of getting treated like a second-class citizen. They're just kind of being dismissed and oh, this is silliness, and why are you even wasting our time with this? And that's the point that's where I'll be frank here. If my bias, Jenny Cook was honest with her bias, my bias is, I think, I'm on RD Wilson's side here. I'll be honest. I think this isn't that big a deal. I think it would be a wonderful thing to add to the VFW. Here's the thing. If you're not willing to beautify and maintain property, it will eventually fall to nothing. Okay.
Correct. Very correct.
I'll let you read this one too.
Mike Moda says Keno funds are not tax dollars. It's revenue generated by people playing Keno in the very VFW in question. Excellent point. Kate follows up. This goes beyond getting the replica asked for. Her demeanor and her attitude was unacceptable. Even if she was having a bad day, she needed to leave that at the door before this meeting. And that is true. It's hard for some people to do, depending on what she's got going on. And we don't know that. So I'm not going to try to burden it with some days are worse than others, even when we're talking about bad days. So I'm not going to pretend like I know what her situation was. And I think it's fair, at least in that scenario, to ask everybody to at least be maybe sympathetic if there's something else going on here that we're not privy to. Go ahead, Phil.
Shoot, Michael, saying no was not the problem. It was the fact of her conduct and her behavior of how she handled herself. That's the problem. I'm getting a lot of that of it's not what she said, it's how she said it. And like I said earlier, whether you like it or not, politics is a popularity contest, and especially
Right.
local politics. Let's see. Jenny, that's correct. No, not the point.
Right,
And then
right.
Paige, God bless you. Let's pull an afro, man, and all send her a pocket constitution.
Oh, wow.
Pound cake.
That's
Pound cake.
that's some next level petty. I do love it. I do love that. Go ahead.
Grow the Farm Up says, R.D. Wilson, I respect your position and totally understand. The veterans should be able to spend their revenue on a framed constitution if they so choose. Her reply was quite odd. And R.D., you're getting more support.
Oh, sorry.
You're getting more support in the chat. So God bless you on your quest to be on the city council. We'll see how that goes. Jenny goes, I'll let you read this one, T.
Yeah. What I can't understand is why didn't anyone else do or say anything at the end? Shouldn't the mayor have asked for a vote if no one else made a motion? So I guess,
Well,
yeah, let's just.
Before you
just-
get to the next thing, let's get a few more minutes into this, because they literally argue most of the time here, and like I watched the whole thing through, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me here. And so like,
I mean, I don't want to be cheap about it, but the Constitution's a Constitution, you know. That's what I have to say about it.
I guess the other thing I'm kind of wondering too, again, I'm not against the pride in that, in doing something nice and supporting and community betterment, but I guess I'm wondering other support, like if other individuals from the VFW or Tom was able to be here to kind of express how they're feeling about it. Other representation
because yeah,
of members.
we have an update from the local Republican Party,
Well, the
but I want
proposal
to
is
finish this video before we get to it.
Available in the
Yeah.
Keno Fund and are for this purpose. I'm not sure that there should be a need to look elsewhere for money. After all, these are the folks that provide the place where the Keno money is generated.
Exactly.
And it's the VFW folks.
I'm not,
And it's not a military organization. It's the people who served in war. For this kind of little tiny bit of money, I'm lost. I'll leave it in your hands.
so for me, it's not, honestly, for me, it's not about the money. It's not about having a constitution up there. That's you for me. Is the way in which it's being presented to us without having gone from within. And that's the way the military works. You support yourself.
It is going
If it
from
means
within.
that much to you,
Mhm.
you find a way from within, from your members to support this, to get.
They're
this.
using their own money.
Yeah, that's the exact point. Is they're trying to utilize the money that they are generating and not hoarding for themselves.
Yeah, yeah. No,
And they went through the proper channels here. They got the approval to propose this, and were told to take it to the council. And she's offended by the fact that they went through the appropriate channels to do that.
yeah, and there's one other thing that I want to get to in this video, because folks, stay tuned, because we do have an update from the local Republican Party and their
Yes.
take on this. But there's one more thing in this video when they start talking about the commander of the VFW. Did you get that deep into this video, T?
I must not have gotten that deep, so I do want to
because
see it.
I was just like shocked and flabbergasted. So
Well,
let's
play it.
They serve the community, they don't take from the community.
Nobody's taking anything.
That's just the,
They're spending their own
that's
money.
just the way the military is. That's been my experience with the military, it's just the way it is, that you go from, if it, something, especially at this little cost, you find the way of getting it from within, from your members, from other.
Like they did.
Organizations, I guess, that would support the military, I mean, right? Go up to Offutt and see if they would, the Air Force would help support something, I don't know.
Shouldn't have to go to
You find
Offutt.
From within the military to support something.
You should not have to go to Offutt for something this insignificant.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm kind of flabbergasted, gobsmacked. I'm gonna we got a couple of comments here.
Go ahead.
I'll bet the VFW Keno revenue is one of the top 5, not the highest taxpayer per square foot in
Yeah.
Geneva. You know, maybe. I can't speak to that though. Christina Woods, many councils tend to hoard the funds for paying for pet projects, park projects, large things. They don't want to come from regular budget. Maybe maybe a little bit of hesitation behind this too. Why the others didn't fight for it. Grow the farm up goes, yes. As I'm learning and hearing more, it appears these aren't even tax dollars. It's Keno VFW revenue. I can see why a few raised eyebrows. Why does the city council have the say to block this? Because the funds have to be allocated in a very specific way for community betterment. And so
The state said you need to go through your city council, and that's exactly what they did.
And let's see, American Land. I didn't serve, but I'll tell you how the military does stuff. I understand. Somebody said she has a disabled vet as a husband, which, God
Yes.
bless for his service.
Yes.
But I will be honest. Like when I was listening to this, I was like, a part of me was like, okay, either she's never served in the military and has very strong opinions about the military, or she really, really did. And she was basically like Captain America. I was trying to figure out which one it was. And so, but Caleb Rippey, hey, Nitrogen, I've been away from Geneva for a while now, but who is this person in the gray sweater saying this? Her name is Jenny Cook of the Geneva City Council.
District, Ward 2.
And yes, Jenny, I know it seems like we're beating you up here, but we would love for you to come on sometime and give your side of the story. Okay. We would love to hear it. Because here's the thing, like you said, maybe you were just having a bad day this day. Maybe, everybody's got has a right to have a bad day. But as you can see, we only have like 2 minutes left to this clip.
Yeah.
So let's play
Let's
this.
play
before
it.
we get to the Republican Party's update.
Community and take away from the community. Because that's my main point, I guess, is I just don't like the way it's been presented to us without having first already tried to get the means for this from within. Because that's the way the military works.
With due respect, my intent was this is just an act of patriotism. That's all it is, and you folks choose to join in that act of patriotism, that's
Well,
your
Jill has
choice.
one posted up, and her, I don't know if we.
I'm just curious what other members are feeling from the VFW, so.
She's talking about Jill's Sweet Shop, which would be kind of adjacent on Main Street. Jill actually got on this page and offered to donate hers to the VFW. So again, the VFW is going to come out with this one way or another, but we'll finish. We got about 2 minutes left, maybe.
Yeah.
So no.
All about it.
If-
And he
he's not
agreed
here
to the
represent them. He's not here to tell us what they said.
His signature is, I'm sorry, this man did, can we move to the next meeting? I'll try to make sure he gets here, just so you can see his face. His signature is there. It was wet signed, it was notarized.
The commander of the VFW.
Does that not prove that he agrees?
I don't think anybody's saying that Tom doesn't agree. We're not questioning Tom's signature.
I think she
He's a
did.
commander, man. He
Do you know what that-
represents
Do you know what
them.
that means? Do you know what that term means? Commander Hyatt
He-
for the VFW. Do you know what that
He's
means?
in charge of the VFW.
That's all that means, is that he's in charge of the VFW.
Okay.
Okay, so a commander of a base just means that he's in charge of the base.
Mhm.
It doesn't really, it's just a title that they've given to him. I get out of respect. I get the military. I get it.
I don't.
Again, my beef with this is that this is not the
What?
military way. And I feel like it insults those who have served in the way that it's being.
No, what was insulting is you just insulted a veteran.
Yep. And then the
By
commander
asking him
things
if
like,
he understands what commander means.
do you know what a commander is? That commander of the VFW, he just runs the VFW. That's all. Very dismissive. Very dismissive. Like I like, let's
That
be
doesn't sit right.
like, to me, it's like, okay, like, teacher voice. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
when
yeah.
a teacher's like talking down to you like you're 3. And like, that's kind of one of the reasons I think everybody's not liking this. But there's only like 30 seconds left. So
Yeah, let's play it out. We'll move on.
Respectfully disagree, man. I think this is a great way to show the members of the military
Yes.
in just one more little way that we do respect them. That is just my feeling. I'm not here to represent anyone at the VFW, only myself as a patriot.
And then just dead silence. Nobody says anything.
All right, so with that, I guess we'll move on. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Up next,
Okay.
what-
So
Can you make a
that was
decision now or no?
there was no motion, so.
Oh, very good.
no motion.
Up next,
There we go. We're gonna catch up on a couple of comments here, but there,
Please,
like
yeah.
that commander part there at the end. It's like, well, yeah, he's just the commander of the VFW. Don't act like he's anything that we need to care. Like, wow. Okay. Oof. Do you want to read that one, T?
I think it speaks for itself.
Yep. I was wondering when a comment like that was going to drop, but Donald goes, our Sons of the Legion in Exeter just held our fundraiser last night. We're always donate to the Legion and other community projects. Christina Wood goes, also, it was proposed by JD who was there and the commander blessed it to hang it on their wall. It wasn't for VFW members to justify. I mean, yeah, when it was notarized by the commander, that's pretty much all you
Right.
need.
That's exactly what you need. Mike
Mike,
Modis
go-
says,
go for
so the mayor commander of Geneva doesn't represent the city. Can you be more condescending? Yeah, precisely. Again, they went through all the proper channels to ask for a very small portion, and she's offended that they went through the proper channels and that the person who had to notarize it wasn't standing there also to prove that he approved of the motion. I don't get it. Grow the Farm Up. That needs to be seen all at once so people can understand why.
You know,
Wow.
I'll do this for you, Grow the Farm Up. When we're done here tonight, before we sign off, we will play that video again in its entirety and then sign off for you for tonight.
There you go.
So stay tuned. But when we get through these comments, we have an update from the local Fillmore County Republican Party. Do
Yeah.
not touch that dial. Okay, Paige Gaywicki goes, she was a Head Start teacher. I think she does have her teaching degree. Don't quote. Okay, because I don't know. Sometimes you do have teachers that will, even as you as an adult, they'll talk to you like you're 3 years old and that they're your mommy or they're your daddy or something like that. And it's like, yeah, let's not do that. Let's all talk to each other through mutual respect. Okay. Like we're all adults here. We're all grown-ups trying to make our community better. And so I just kind of caught a little bit of that teacher tone in there. And I was like, okay,
Right.
okay. But let's catch up here. Cheryl Compton. I'm a wife of a 100% disabled vet who served for 15 years and fought in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and I'm very offended for what she said. Because, Sherry, I was always under the impression that the community helped the veterans because the veterans served the community. That was always, that's the ethic I've been raised with for all 40 years of my life. Kate Marie Lemke. It's funny she finds the request disrespectful to our service members, yet she completely disrespected R.D. Wilson and all the service members. Okay. Thank you, Katie. R.D., talk about divisive and dismissive. Then we got Steve. I just don't see why other members of council did not speak up to support this.
I touched on that. I think it was just at that point the mood of the room. I think everybody just kind of wanted to avoid getting any of it on them, and I think the reaction was a little stunning for the rest of the council, maybe. So they didn't really know how to react, but it's not over. So,
well, I mean, also keep in mind this is local politics. Some of them just don't want to rock the boat. Some of them just
right.
Well, if that's the case, maybe local politics isn't for you if you're not willing to rock the boat once in a while. He's just the mayor. It's just a title. That's a little funny. Grow the Farm Up goes, isn't that kind of the whole point of the VFW?
Yeah.
And yeah, she goes, right. Where's the mayor in all of this? Yeah, the mayor was quite silent in all of this, unfortunately. B-Rad goes, LOL. And I love this comment.
Yeah.
American Lynn, we're rocking the boat on the council's behalf. And there was a comment leading up to this on one of the Facebook pages where Like, yes, we want to keep things respectful, but here's the thing: if you don't make your voice heard and make people slightly uncomfortable once in a while, you're never going to have any change. It's never you will never see change if everyone's just allowed to stay comfortable the whole time. And this is correct. Silence is a soft no. So
that is true.
taking no side is taking a side every single time. I've said this many times. I'll say it again. When you have two sides, one is powerful, one is weaker, and you refuse to take a side, you are taking the side of the powerful. Every time by default. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. R.D. Wilson, should there be accountability applied at every level of government every single day, R.D.? Okay, so if you do make it on, R.D., I will say this to you, and I say this to anybody that seeks political office. If you do gain the power that you seek, don't forget why you wanted it in the first place. Okay, don't forget why you sought it, because of what you saw that led you to go there. And so that's why I say to anybody seeking power, Kate Marie, and shouldn't we hold our city council accountable? And that's what we're doing here today.
Yes.
And that's what you as the voters will be doing over the next few election cycles. Mike, standing up for the right thing shouldn't be a tough decision. If it is, you shouldn't be in that position. Now, granted, you are correct, Mike, but also keep in mind something that, this good book teaches in basically every single chapter. Standing up for what's right and doing what the Lord commands you, doing what is right, is going to cost you. It always comes at a cost. Okay. So 2 more comments, and then T, I want you to pull up the latest from the Republican Party. Skinner, next council meeting should be fun to watch. Please record for us out of state, folks. Yes, Artie, please record. Please record this to serve the people. All right, T, without further ado, pull up the latest update from the Fillmore County Republican Party.
I'm going to read this out because I don't really have anything to pull up, but this was actually sent to us here just yesterday, I believe. The chairman of the Fillmore County Republican Party reached out and told us that they had passed a resolution regarding this. So I'm just going to read off what was sent to us. There's a lot here, so bear with me, and I will verify. The word censure that you're about to hear is a formal public or official statement of strong disapproval or condemnation, often adopted by a legislative body like Congress or professional organization, to rebuke a member for misconduct. It acts as a severe reprimand intended to punish behavior without removing the person from the office. So as I'm reading that, keep that in mind here. Resolution of censure and call for public retraction. Whereas the Republican Party has long stood in support of the men and women who have served in the United States Armed Forces, recognizing their sacrifice in defense of our freedoms, our Constitution, and our Republic, and whereas communities across Nebraska and the nation are preparing to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, an occasion of historic significance honoring the founding principles, heritage, and sacrifices that shaped this nation, and whereas proposals to recognize and support veterans through commemorative efforts, including constitutional themed displays and educational initiatives, reflect the values of patriotism, service, civic duty, and respect for those who have defended our country. And whereas it has been publicly stated by Republican Geneva City Council member Jenny Cook that such community support for veterans is unnecessary, and that veterans or the military should support themselves, and that the community does not owe them support. And whereas such statements are inconsistent with the Republican Party's long-standing commitment to honoring its military service, supporting veterans and their families, and strengthening the civic institutions that preserve our American heritage and have caused concern and offense within the community. And whereas elected officials who represent the Republican Party are expected to conduct themselves in a manner that reflects honor, gratitude, and respect towards those who have served this nation in uniform. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fillmore County Republican Party hereby formally censures Jenny Cook for these statements and for conduct unbecoming of Republican elected official, and publicly publicly repudiates those remarks. And be it further resolved that the Fillmore County Republican Party formally calls upon Jenny Cook to publicly retract these statements and issue a sincere apology to local veterans, to the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW, and be it further resolved that the Fillmore County Republican Party expects such retraction and apology to be made in a timely manner so as to restore trust within the community And be it further resolved that the Fillmore County Republican Party will take such future actions as it deems appropriate regarding support for candidates who fail to uphold the party's values of respect for veterans and service to the community. And be it further resolved that the Fillmore County Republican Party reaffirms its unwavering support for veterans, active duty service members, military families, and expresses its gratitude for their service and sacrifice. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be entered into the official record of the Fillmore County Republican Party and transmitted to the appropriate parties. Adopted this 21st day of March 2026, Fillmore County Republican Party.
So that is the official statement from the Fillmore County Republican Party regarding this controversy. And so whether anybody likes it or not, we got an issue where there's people on one side of it. There, at the moment, seems to be one person on the other side of it. So that is where we are on that. And well, let's get to a couple of comments here.
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion that we all show up to the next council meeting. Can I get a second? I'm
Yeah,
sure
I think there's going to be a lot. I think
Yeah.
the chamber halls are going to be probably overflowing. And again, absolutely, it is your right and your duty to show up to council meetings that you see something on the docket that you need to be present for.
This is our generation's low life. Do you remember that when like when we were kids, one of the city council members, she said at like apparently the hair salon or something, well, the low lifes came into the city council meeting this week. Next week, place was flooded with dudes and everybody with low life hats on. And those low life hats are still floating around the community to this day, decades later. So this is kind of our generation's low lifes, if you will. Lisa, were there any other veterans in the council? And if so, why didn't they stand up against her? I don't know if anybody else on the council is a military veteran. I don't think so. But good question. And Nitrogen asks, so how does it work when the city wants city betterment? Is there a board at the VFW that has a say as well?
Well, no. So
discretion of the commander, isn't it?
right, and that was
Anyways.
they kind of just get together. I believe the higher ups, the more longstanding members of the outfit, they get together. They have open discussions about this thing, I believe, and then once the commander Tom Hyatt signs off and approves it, which he did in this situation. They reached out to the state of Nebraska, and the state of Nebraska said, yep, that's fine. And you've just got to go to the city council because they're the appropriate committee that you need the approval from to grant the usage of these funds, which can only be used for this Constitution replica, the sum of $449. So they exactly went through the proper channels after deciding that, yeah, this is something that we would like to do for ourselves through a income that we generate into the community. So there you go.
But yeah, we got Shoot Michael goes, the duty is ours, the results are God's. John Quincy Adams. Great quote. Chuck Udell, wow. B-Rad goes, thank you, Tony G. You are a good reader. And R.D. Wilson, thank you all. R.D., like I know you're the guy that's here in front of us, but I'm just going to be honest. My personal bias is trending towards your cause here. Okay. Like I don't see why.
For sure.
Like, first of all, like the denigrating the commander of the VFW, like this is a man who served. Okay. Like there's no reason to do this. And this is such a small ask. I just don't understand the pushback here. It makes no sense to me. Mike goes, if everyone can't fit into the council chambers, we can move it to the VFW. Hey, if nothing else, have a live stream watch party.
There you go.
Caleb Rippey. Sorry, I wasn't meaning where the city wanted to use the money or better the city projects. And then Justin.
Right.
Tony can read? What?
When I need to. When I need to. Back to Caleb's point. Yeah, when the city wants to use the money to better the city on project. Yeah, I think that's another great point on why this sits so just wrong with everybody, because that funding is there, generated by the VFW. So asking for a crumb of what they've helped generate should not be a big deal when that funding, other proposals, I assume, are brought to the city council probably all the time that are going to have to come from some form of allocated money from some account, just like that. why should this be a big deal for, hey, we're going to give ourselves a little pat on the back and show a little bit of our own patriotism because, hey, we're out here, we're donating our time and our efforts, and we have the VFW open to the public, and we put on Keno and we generate these funds. No reason it shouldn't be able to come from that fund.
Like, I want you to imagine an alternate universe here for a second where Jenny Cook goes, you know what? This is a great idea. I love it. And let's do it. She would have just ensured her seat on the council for the next 10 years.
Well, it wouldn't have been a video and it would have been a public reaction.
Nobody
That's
would have
the thing.
cared. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Because, folks.
That's why transparency is so important.
Yeah, but you are correct. People do tend to concentrate on the negative. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, does anybody know in the comments when the next city council meeting is?
I think it's April 6th. Let me Google though.
Okay,
Let me double check.
but I suspect that one will have some people there. Let's see. BRAD, the VFW's fundraisers, they are kind of a not-for-profit. Lisa says, I would love to know her husband's view on this since he is a veteran. I'll admit, just from my own personal curiosity,
Right.
I'm also kind of curious what his take is on this as well.
April 6th at 6 p.m. It's a Monday. There we go. Yep. Absolutely. And if you want to be heard or you want to at least be seen, that is how you absolutely should show up.
I'll let you read this one.
Oh, I didn't get enough of a mouthful on the other one. Thanks, Phil.
No.
Greg says, mountain out of a molehill, but I'm there by myself at the meeting 95% of the time. This was one person's opinion. In a city this small, it's hard to get anyone to run for public service. For instance, there's 3 spots open on the Fillmore County School Board, and only 2 are running. That is true. And this is during such an exciting time with the $48 million school bond improvement building project. That's true. We're missing people who were key and vital in that project moving forward. So again, I mentioned this at the top, but
Local
these
politics.
are they're very thankless positions, whether it be the school board, city council, what have you, but they're very thankless positions. And I don't think anybody should automatically say, I don't like the one thing they said this one day when, and go, we have to run them out of town. That's not how this should work. Because these are hard things to do.
You need to run. Okay. If
Yes.
you don't like it, you, like, to quote Mahatma Gandhi, be the change you want to see. Okay. Like, if there's some change, like RD, to his credit, he's seeing something that he don't like and he's running so he can change it, because this is local politics. This is the most power that most citizens will ever have access to. Okay. The ability to change your community or help steer it in some way. Thanks. Chuck goes the first and third Mondays of the month. Good to know. Good to know. I like this. American Land. Everyone print out a copy of the Constitution and post it in your window in solidarity. Nice. Let's see. The meeting starts at 6 now, in case folks don't know that. R.D. Wilson says, but thanks. It is an honor of serving our community. Yes, it is. Whenever you get a chance to serve others, it's an honor. B-Rad, first Monday and every Monday of every month, I believe. At least the first, maybe the third, according to Chuck Udell. Now,
I just wanted to circle back a second there to Greg's comment. Now, people do get razzed up about things, and rightfully so. This is because of the gravity of the ask. It was such a small ask. And this is a small rural community in the Midwest, in Nebraska. This is the kind of reaction you would expect in a community like this, in a place like this, right? Just given the geography and the politics of the geography, right? This is kind of the reaction that you would expect from something like this, given the amount of money we were asking for the cause. It's the reaction to something that you would expect in this situation, right? But again, I do want to make very clear.
Deep Red America.
Very, very, very clear. I have a ton of respect for people who take these positions, who put themselves out there to be that person, to dictate funding of sales tax and whatnot, school board members, city council members, mayors, everything. I have a ton of respect for that, because not everybody can do that. Not everybody has the gusto to do that. And that's why I wanted people to come in here tonight. And for the most part, this has been exactly what I was hoping for. We're not looking for a witch hunt here. We're not trying to drag somebody's name through the mud. We're not looking to make a situation worse. You have to respect it, at least to some degree, for the people who do this, whether you agree with them politically or not, or their opinions. It takes a lot of nerve to do this kind of thing. So I think you have to at least respect them on that level, even if you disagree with their decisions when it comes to doing things on the council. But again, we are coming up on an election year. So like Phil was saying, you can run against them or you can vote for somebody else, but do it as an adult. And if people do go to the chambers and they do go to the next council meeting, you cannot go looking to stir up a whole storm of nonsense. No, there's no reason for that. Make it seen. Your presence is a voice in itself. I think that's something that should be made clear.
Well, it's something that I said at the school bond issue. Remember that fun time? And what I said to everybody is, no matter what happens at the end, we're all still going to be living in the same community. No matter who wins or who loses, let's not be mocking of each other, because we're still going to be each other's neighbors. This is our community. Right. We are better than this. Okay. We can rise above this. But again, I do think that there is some apology at the very least in order, because this was very denigrating to people who have given a great deal of service to our nation and to our community. And that's why people are up in arms. Like, I remember we were kind of joking about this the other day, and I was saying, like, okay, the only way Mrs. Cook could have made this worse for herself is if she had like somehow talked smack on puppies and babies. Like, okay, like I can't think of how she could have made this worse for herself. In terms of local politics, this is one of the biggest political blunders in my lifetime. Okay, like this was such an easy layup, and it just got blundered terribly.
Yeah. And I've had a couple people, just not in the comments, but talking about other things like the fair board. There's a county fair here in town, and that's another thankless position that it's hard to get help for, because nobody wants that headache, because it's a lot of difficult intermingling and decision making, and it's really difficult to get everybody on board for the betterment of the grand scheme of things. And I've had other people who've also run for city council who maybe feel, or not just feel that way, but were very visibly personally attacked in ways and dragged through the mud anonymously via brochures and whatnot. I'm not going to name names, but if you know, like, if they don't want you, they don't want you. And that's really bad. It doesn't matter if you don't like the person or not. They're putting themselves out there to do this job that nobody else wants to do. If you don't like them personally, fine, but somebody's got to do it. So if you don't like that person who's going to do it, you can vote against them. You don't have to go through other means to try to attack them personally, though. So I mean, just keep that in mind, and especially when we visit the chambers. But it is your right as a citizen to make your presence known at these meetings.
I'll let you read this one, T.
This is Shoe Michael. I am the chairman of the Fillmore County Republican Party. We kept the resolution measured to follow proper decorum. This is about accountability and giving the opportunity for an apology, not to a recall. And that's very important, because it's an opportunity to flush away the mountain that was made from the molehill, right? So this is an opportunity to just not make it go away, but find as happy an ending to a uncomfortable situation that was presented. So I think it's more than fair that she's being given a chance to, at least for the very least, better explain her biases, as she put it several times, or explain herself more fluently, because I think it felt very emotional for her. And I don't know why. It's not my place to know why. But I think a better resolution can be made if we get some more clarity.
I'd like to take these next two comments. R.D. Wilson says, the rules of decorum must be respected, and we can get our point across. Just be by listening to our moral compass. Okay, so yeah, R.D. Wilson, God bless you on your quest. But like I said, if you do get power, Don't forget why you wanted it in the first place. And this one I really wanted to touch on. American Lynn. Jenny is a fellow believer. Good to hear. I hope she will take this feedback to heart and make the apology to the veterans. When that happens, we all need to forgive and move on. Yes, if there is actual repentance here, we need to actually forgive. Okay. We're all allowed to have a bad day once in a while. Okay. If she says, you know what, I retract my statement, I apologize to the veterans, we do need to accept that apology. Okay. Because
Absolutely.
unfortunately, in like these kinds of situations, the temptation is to double, triple down, be like, no, I love the rivalry. I want to keep it going. But no, if she does actually apologize, we as believers and we as those made in God's holy image, we have to accept that apology. Okay. So, but B-Rad's got to go in. Must be March Madness.
It is March Madness.
Well done. Well done. Well,
No,
T,
and I think it's vital that people remember everybody is also a person. I mean, you can not like people because of their political beliefs or their personality from years gone by, whatever. We don't need to drag people through the mud when it comes to politics, because leave that for the people in DC. You know, we get enough of that sham as it is at the federal level. It does not need to trickle down to the local level. When people put themselves out there to do these jobs, these thankless positions, there's a better way. If they screw up, hold them accountable. But we can do it a better way than making the situation worse or preventing them from seeking or making them not want to seek out another term. Like there's a better way to do this, because you're not going to get a better local government by making it unappealing to be a local politician. You're just not. So you can wish in one hand and do whatever in the other, but which one's going to fill up first? If you want something done, somebody's got to do it. You can't just not have nobody do it and expect an outcome.
Wait, T,
So-
you mean if local politicians are just run out of on a rail the minute they do something that somebody doesn't like, you mean we're not going to get very good representatives? Golly, that's strange.
Yeah.
Greg has, do you want this one or do you want me to take it?
Go ahead.
Greg says, when Tom Hyatt walks into a meeting, this will be passed 5-1. I hope you're correct. You need to consider the person who brought this proposal. He is in no way representative of the Geneva VFW. The two other city councilwomen asked for someone from the VFW to come forward, period. Now, here's the thing. I get your argument, but he did have a signed notarized document from the commander of the
commander.
VFW. Now, if the council women would have said, okay, well, just have him come in and we'll do, that would have been one thing. But instead we got, well, he's just a commander. And you know what that even means? The commander, he's just the head of the little VFW. Well, commander doesn't really even mean anything in this context. Like, okay, Greg, I
It
understand
was the
your argument
disrespect
perfectly.
for no
Do
reason.
you understand why the pushback is what it is? Like that's just like, because I can steel man your position. I'm wondering, can you steel man the other position? And for those who don't know, steel man is the opposite of a straw man. A straw man is when you beat up an argument that nobody's making. Steel man is when you make an argument for the other side so well that the people on that side would agree with you. R.D. Wilson, Greg, the council had the opportunity to take final action on the proposal as it stood. And to me, like, RD, I think what you presented was good enough. I could at least understand the perspective if somebody said, hey, could you get somebody from the V to come in here, like the commander to come in here, and so we can make double dog sure. If
he's
that was
not
all
wrong.
that was said, if that's
Right.
all that was said, I think I would understand the city council a little bit better.
Right. But
I
why
don't think
why
RD's
even
wrong here.
why go through the extra step if it's already been notarized? Like, his name's on it. So I guess I don't understand why we need to go through the extra steps in the process just to make a bigger headache out of it than needed to be. Like, this could have all been done in one fell swoop. Like, sure, they could have made Tom go in and do it himself, and okay, it passes, fine. But why should that be necessary? I mean, Tom works on the road. I know who Tom is. He's not always around. Why should that be necessary? On his behalf, with a notarization of his approval on it, was taken into the council. Like, there you go. It should have been that simple.
Grow the Farm Up asks, is there a link to the raw footage? We will throw that in the comments as we play the video when we do close out here shortly. RD, I offered to come back, and I'm sure you will have quite a few more people at the next meeting in support of you, RD. So, like I said, God bless you on your quest. But T, are we there?
Yeah. So again, we've got elections coming up, and we've got midterm elections, but also more importantly, I want to stress this again, local elections. Like when these happen, if you're not already registered, you need to do so, and you need to get on top of it. Now, I know there's a bunch of controversy going across the country right now in terms of voter ID. Nebraska's a voter ID state as of what? Was it last year we passed this, Phil?
Yep. We are now a voter ID state, thank God.
And now federally, we're trying to do this across all Nifty 50. So if you're not already registered, you need to do that. Even if you don't vote federally, you can vote locally, and it's vital that you do so.
But T, since we are there, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us this evening on the KOE Nation and Big Buckin' Empire for this very, very special evening where we came together, folks. We came together. T, I'll let you read these last two comments here. But yes, Tony's going to pull up these comments, but God bless every last one of you. Don't touch that dial. We're going to play this whole controversy for you one more time, and we're going to give you the link. But yes, folks, you can find me, your King of Extreme, Phil KOE, at KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter. You can also find me at Sutton Community Church on Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings. I hope to find you there, ladies and gentlemen. God bless every last one of you. I'm going to leave you with these simple words, my communion meditation from this morning, Romans 12, verses 1 and 2. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living and holy sacrifice, acceptable to God, which is your spiritual service of worship. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what is the will of God, that which is good and acceptable and perfect. Amen. God bless every last one of you, and I am turning it over to my indomitable broadcast partner, the one, the only.
I'm Tony G. Thanks everybody for watching, and we're going to go ahead and roll the clip back again. I'll pop up whatever comments come as we're playing through the video again. So here you go. If you missed it, here it is in its entirety. Go ahead and watch again if you would like. If you need a link, reach out to one of us, and we will figure out a way to get to you. But here you go, folks.
God.
Thanks for the update, Kyle. Appreciate that. Our one and only item of business tonight, consideration of a Keno grant request for a replica of the U.S. Constitution at the VFW. Mr. Ron Wilson, would you like to address the council with a summary of your proposal here?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first off, the proposal went through about 5 or 6 drafts. Reason being, we wanted to make it as clear as possible and concise so you folks could make a good decision right away. It's basically for you folks to purchase with the Keno funds a replica that we indicated in the proposal to be hung in the VFW.
And this would come from National Archives Center, is that right?
That is where I have been buying the ones that I buy. It is a government organization, and their quality of product is excellent.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Ron?
I have some things to say.
Okay.
So this sits really wrong with me. I'm just gonna come out and say that. I might have some bias with this, I don't know, but the military way is not to ask the community to give to them, it's to support themselves from within. And that's how it's always been done, that's the way it's always done. I'm under the impression that the VFW hasn't had one for a number of years, decades maybe even. And if it hasn't been important up till now, I don't know how old this VFW is, but it's been around since I've been little. right? And they haven't had one. I don't know why there's all of a sudden a need to have it. Again, like I said, the military, they help the community. They don't ask for the community to give them things. I don't know, I'm just gonna leave it with that it sits really wrong with me that we're being asked to give from our community to the VFW, something that I don't think it's of great value that it needs to be. They've had it this long without it. People who serve, they know damn well what they are serving for. They don't need a piece of paper framed hanging up on a wall to tell them what they serve for. Their families know that as well. They sacrifice, they all know. So, like I said, it just sits very wrong with me. I haven't seen that there's been any fundraising done to try to pay for this or ask of the members to give a little bit of something to pay for this. Maybe it has and it just hasn't come to us, but that's the way the military does it. And so that, I guess that's probably why it really sits wrong with me. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add?
Is the commander interested in coming to visit with us, Tom Hyatt?
I did speak with Commander Hyatt yesterday, and he said he was gonna try to be here. I haven't had contact with him today. However, the signature that he placed on the proposal was notarized. Yes, Ms. Rickett? You saw the notarization.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know you were asking me.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was. It's
It
not
was.
necessary on this, but it was. There was documentation.
It's fine, Mike, you don't want to go for it. I'm big about it.
Thank you, Greg. But I think we talked about this before when we were talking about the, Missoula Children's Theater. How much money is in the account? 30?
It's right up here, I can tell you, $136,700 in round numbers.
And pretty specific things that money can be spent on, correct? I mean, like,
It's specific, but yet not. I mean, it's pretty wide open to community betterment-ish type things in general. And as he put in here, specifically that, he put a couple sections he quoted in here, but there's multiple sections. I think Missoula Theater would be one, but it could be used for community centers, community events, things that benefit general public in a sense.
Ron, can you tell us why this one and this one are different and why that's important? I think it was your impetus, am I incorrect, that we have our constitution up here?
I did make the suggestion, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I mean, is there a way to do this cheaper? I guess, I don't know, I'm just like, what made you pick this frame, does it come in the frame?
I believe, and Commander Hyatt and other members of the VFW have agreed that that is a place that is special, and we should have a special replica of our Constitution in that place that honors both the Constitution and our members of the service.
The VFW sells them for $3. If you go to their site, they will sell you one for $3.
What's true size one?
I did not catch the size of it, but what they suggest is, I don't think it's probably framed, but what they suggest costs $3. You can also get pocket ones.
Well, if we're talking about money, folks, I did the simple math. The cost of this particular replica is 0.00367% of the funds available. And it's a great representation of our Constitution.
Well, I'm not opposed to this, but I'd like to see us follow up on what Jenny just said about if you can get one cheaper. I mean, I don't want to be cheap about it, but the Constitution's a Constitution, you know. That's what I have to say about it.
I guess the other thing I'm kind of wondering too, again, I'm not against the pride in that and doing something nice and supporting and community betterment, but I guess I'm wondering other support, like if other individuals from the VFW or Tom was able to be here to kind of express how they're feeling about it. Other representation of the members.
Well, the proposal is that the funds that are available in the Keno Fund and are for this purpose, I'm not sure that there should be a need to look elsewhere for money. After all, these are the folks that provide the place where the Keno money is generated. And it's the VFW folks. And it's not a military organization, it's the people who served in war. For this kind of little tiny bit of money, I'm lost. I'll leave it in your hands.
So for me, it's not, honestly, for me, it's not about the money. It's not about having a constitution up there. That's viewed for me. Is the way in which it's being presented to us without having gone from within. And that's the way the military works. You support yourself. If it means that much to you, you find a way from within, from your members to support this, to get this. They serve the community. They don't take from the community. That's just the way the military is. That's been my experience with the military. It's just the way it is. That you go from if it something, especially at this little cost, you find the way of getting it from within, from your members, from other organizations, I guess, that would support the military. I mean, right? Go up to Offutt and see if they would, the Air Force would help support something. I don't know. You find from within the military to support something like this. You don't go out to the community and take away from the community. Because that's my main point, I guess, is I just don't like the way it's been presented to us without having first already tried to get the means for this from within. Because that's the way the military works.
With due respect, my intent was this is just an act of patriotism. That's all it is, and you folks choose to join in that act of patriotism, that's your
Jill has
choice.
one posted up and her, I don't know if we.
I'm just curious what other members are feeling from the VFW, so more information
Well,
from.
Mr. Hyatt signed it, and he talked to his people about
But
and he
he's not
agreed
here
to the
represent them. He's not here to tell us what they said.
it. His signature is, I'm sorry, that man, can we move to the next meeting? I'll try to make sure he gets here, just so you can see his face. His signature is there. It was wet signed, it was notarized. Is that not proof that he agrees?
I don't think anybody's saying that Tom doesn't agree. We're not questioning Tom's signature in any way.
Well, and he's a commander, man. He
Do you know what that-
represents
Do you know what
them.
that means? Do you know what that term means? Commander Hyatt
He-
for the VFW. Do you know what that means?
He's in charge of the VFW.
That's all that means, is that he's in charge of the VFW.
Okay.
Okay, so a commander of a base just means that he's in charge of the base.
Mhm.
It doesn't really, it's just a title that they've given to him. I get out of respect. I get the military. I get it. Okay. Again, my beef with this is that this is not the military way. And I feel like it insults those who have served in the way that it's being asked of us.
I respectfully disagree, ma'am. I think this is a great way to show the members of the military in just one more little way that we do respect them. That is just my feeling. I'm not here to represent anyone at the VFW, only myself as a patriot.
All right, so with that, I guess we'll move on. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Up next.
Oh,
claims.
what? Do you make a decision now or no?
There was no motion, so
Oh, very good.
up next is claims.